What cigarette do you smoke? You'll be interested to know how the doctors of America answered that question. Tens of thousands of doctors in all parts of the country, in every state of the Union. Doctors in every branch of medicine were asked,
What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?
in this nationwide survey of general practitioners, surgeons, throat specialists, diagnosticians, and so on, the brand named most was Camel.
Yes, according to this survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself.
Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. Dr. Z was the first one who sent me this link here through Instagram messages showing the Prime Minister of Japan and other Japanese officials eating Fukushima fish. And I can't show the actual footage because I'm the type of channel that they come after just frantically. And that's why I don't have the 25K channel I used to have, even though when you look at all these other channels that pontificate that they're going to give you the gritty edge and, oh, the white people hate them and they got 100,000 subscribers, that's why their channels are still there and mine was taken away, even though I'm constantly saying I wish absolutely nobody any harm of any race or nationality. That's a fact. I don't. I can't help but hate genociders. Those are the only folks, and if you're assisting genociders, then every single morning I say my prayers. I am literally humbly asking Allah to expunge you from the planet as quickly as possible. That should be known as sanity, all right? And so, yeah, they took the platform away, so I can't show this, but I found it extra interesting that I was trying to get screen captures, just, click, left click, take a screenshot, there we go. And this always works on Instagram. It didn't this time around, where it just, there you go, has a little red dot up there, failed. And these were all the different attempts to capture, because I wanted to show how these dudes look scared to heck. They don't look like they're having a good old time. Their eyes, as they're, it was just the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida who was just speaking with a real stoic expression. And he's eating with a real stoic expression Fukushima fish. There's no joy in Mudville. And this guy right here, either. Nobody's smiling. Nobody's really having any fun. Not like Shinzo used to. Oh my goodness, when he was eating Fukushima fish, he was just a laugh track all by himself. And a horrible, horrible liar. What happened to Shin? It's so complicated, so bear with me because I'm gonna make it fun, right? But it's all so far more complicated than the media will ever portray. Just like with doctors, more doctors, trust Camels or support Camels than any other cigarette. And they did a survey of, according to Camel, 113,000 people, doctors. And the factor in all of that is that the cigarette companies, they knew that this stuff was really damaging to the lungs. And a lot of the doctors would have known by then, because it's not like people started smoking in the 1950s. So these folks were just out and out liars. And that's what's going on with Japan, with TEPCO. TEPCO isn't even a Japanese company. It's owned by the nuclear industry. So white men run that whole institution. And there's so much proof on the books of how they've been hiding the deadly effect of low-dose radiation. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, these guys are up here taking over the duty that Shinzo Abe used to have. And according to reports, dude died while he was in full-blown colon cancer, rectal cancer, every single type of cancer. Shinzo Abe reportedly was just bleeding with every single excretion. And that's one of my conclusions why they decided to assassinate him, because in the murder of Shinzo Abe, nobody stopped this dude. Just like with the Kennedy assassination, the security was just threadbare. Dude walked up, just took him out. I figured the nuke industry was just hedging its bets. Better he die from a really just comical. And killing someone is never comical. I don't want to make light of that. That was an awful thing to do, no matter how bad Shinzo was. But I know the nuke industry would not want him dying from cancer after eating all that daggone fish. And his name was, the assassin was Tetsuya Yamagami. He was 41 years old. And one of the complexities is the connection between Shinzo Abe and Tetsuya, where they were connected through the Unification Church, and Tetsuya claimed that his family was financially ruined, whereas the Shinzo family, they would fund things like the Unification Church, but more sinisterly, Shinrikyo, who were responsible for the hellacious subway attack in Tokyo using sarin gas that killed 15 people and injured thousands. And many of those people are still suffering to this day. I theorize that what's going on with Japan is that white people are they study every nationality, every race's weaknesses. And after the dropping of Hiroshima bomb and the Nagasaki bomb, you got a bunch of Japanese people who justifiably are pissed to the nines at the United States of America. They want revenge. And Shinrikyo was one of the ways that they hope to gain weapons of mass destruction. The first thing that the guy who was running it tried was mustard gas. It didn't work. And he had this brilliant chemist working for him to develop these weapons. But one of their biggest donors was Shinzo Abe's father. So it's real weird because Shinzo Abe's father, what was his name? Oh, Shintaro Abe. So Abe is the last name. Shintaro Abe. That was his father's name. He was a very politically hopeful person, and he had a modicum of success. But the West, just like with TEPCO, the West supported Shinzo Abe to go in after the prime minister he replaced. The prime minister he replaced was against nuclear. Shinzo Abe came in and he was totally for nuclear. And what a wonderful coincidence that he harkens back to this desire to destroy the United States of America. As I said, that's justifiable after Fukushima and Nagasaki. To be really pissed. Just because you are angry at the rapist does not turn you into a rapist if you kick his ass. Okay? I'm not saying I want that because we're here. We're here. Our people are here. We didn't co-sign that. Matter of fact, we were the first victims of the atomic bomb with Port Chicago. They first tested it there before they did it at Trinity. And so I'm just saying, white folks, they go and they know that. They know these Japanese people angry as heck. So they can hand select those who are going to try to employ just ridiculous methods such as nuclear and to get that back, that vengeance back on the United States of America. And so with Fukushima, that's why, in my conclusion, they're cooperating with the whole thing. Even though it's going to kill them off eventually, that's inevitable. It's already destroying their economy. They can't sell their rice. They have to give it away. Who? To black you and me. Right? The CMOS, the whole thing. I mean, woo, it's crazy. I keep pointing out that CMOS genocide, that I used to just be able to open up and every single one of these dots, planet-wide, revealed the radiation they found there. Definitively. I would guess that's because there were black people going saying, well, let me go check this out. Let me go see, okay? Just like with the camel ads. They depend on your ignorance, right? I usually don't like to single it out, but I make sure, damn sure, as I know these are the devils in charge, that I do not remain in ignorance. So the fact that they removed the ability to just, casually come on in and verify, leave that damn CMOS alone, just lets you know, they know. And so when you see all of this where, they're like, oh, no, it's fine. We're eating the Fukushima rice or the Fukushima fish, all of it is going to absorb radiation. They're lying. They're lying. I mean, I'm just going to run through what I have open in my tabs, but here, this is the DDT truck. The white people used to send their children specifically over to get sprayed by the DDT truck because they were told it's so healthy, it's so good for you. And then Rachel Carson wrote her book, Silent Spring, and proved that wherever that DDT fell, all the birds, their shells were just as thin as tissue paper. And so the populations were going down. I'd show you all the dead creatures that happen primarily starting in the Pacific Ocean. It's radiation from all nuclear facilities has been everywhere. It's just that Fukushima was such an aberration in the enormity of its deluge that you could specifically point out, oh, look, there's a huge jump there. Things like flaccid myelitis, which they keep out of the papers because it's not polio. But this polio-like illness that was striking children, that's how I knew all the, scared of a little germ, better get a diaper for your, whatever. Just don't bring in that air, that good oxygen, that whole episode there. I knew since it wasn't happening to children that more than likely, that was full of crap. And all the data afterwards, if you're paying attention and not being ignorant to think that doctors are going to tell you that smoking's good for you and it's the truth, then you're going to know that was all full of crap. All right? And they're doing their best to bring it about all over again. And so when I saw the flaccid myelitis happening to children, I said, oh, that's the radiation, because that also started on the West Coast. The West Coast. Okay? And so when these people, thalidomide babies, oh my goodness, have you seen those? Right? Where they were trying to help women, white women mostly, because this was an expensive treatment, not have abortions. And they gave them this medication that wound up causing devastating damage to their fetuses. I do believe this one has got to be thalidomide baby from a thalidomide mother. That's wow. That's wild. That just might be radiation, because I don't know. I haven't studied this enough. But all I'm saying is that you can't take nothing these people say as a matter of fact. Because it was another thing where I reported on risk of cancer death after exposure to low-dose ionizing radiation underestimated. This is a report from August 16, 2023, just a couple weeks ago. And just like with the IAEA Maris map of all the radiation everywhere, I would think the other lie, that as an individual, you have no power. It's not that you as an individual are powerful. It's that the truth is obliterating, because even demons want to know the truth. That's why my channel grew so huge that there were even white people showing up. And I know that's the problem. These devils don't want their own to know that this ain't just kill the black people. It kill everybody. Gonna kill everybody. I'm not saying right away, because radiation takes time. As it's bioaccumulating in your body, it's going to cause all kinds of maladies that eventually, as all the books I'm reading, and that is due to your donations and your purchases of all our products on 25000yearcycle.org. Because of that, I have built up a library, unlike any that I've seen anyplace else, about the real facts of radiation. And a general, and I do believe it was in the book Behind the Fog, was quoted as stating, eventually, the bioaccumulation of radiation leads to species elimination. Because you can't handle all of these maladaptions that happen. And for every single outside mutation, there's going to be 10 more on the inside. And there's so much science about how that happens that over the years I've been trying to explain that I still have most of that data. But it's hard to I can't in one share get it all out. But this article right here, this is in the video, The Well-Hidden Murder of California. Here it says, risk of cancer death after exposure to low-dose ionizing radiation underestimated, suggests nuclear industry study. When I went looking for this article specifically, I found it fascinating and that the article was no longer there. And they had different things going over it, but that specific wording where they were showing it's the nuclear industry that was studying this, probably because their own scientists, their own white scientists, are getting sick to death of not being able to not lie because of all the anti-nukers. I ain't the only anti-nuker out here, right? Not being able to not lie is embarrassing for them. And so they have to put out there, okay, because it's just a truth that's been established since the radium girls. Low doses of radiation will kill you. It will destroy your body. Eventually, by one atom basis, ain't no safe dose. Okay? But that article in specific, it was removed. So there were other ones. You know, it's now available as a PDF. They took the original article, off of the general just sweep of articles. And when you look at the headlines and all of these, they don't mention the nuclear industry. Okay, cancer death risk after low dose ionizing radiation underestimated. Where's the nuclear? This is coming from the nuclear industry. Okay, here's the same thing they did with the starfish. Now all of a sudden there's a deer wasting disease. What the hell? Wisconsin deer farm quarantine as highly contagious. What? And fatal chronic wasting disease is discovered among herd of 300. No, this is something I've shown you also. Right? This is on my Instagram account, but I put it on all the rest of them, where this is basically what's happening. Right? This is deer wasting disease, tumors, antlers that look like, I don't know what, 4, 5, 6 legs. Come on. Damn, really? Right? These people, this stuff, if they disclose this stuff, it has been punishable by death since 1947. And so, of course, they're going to, Wisconsin deer farm quarantine, highly contagious. No, that's just the radiation. And they're just scared to dickens of the world figuring out, when you kill the only planet everybody has, you have lost authority. There's right here this article about how they are now in Europe censoring whatever they claim is misinformation coming from the unentitled snakes of America into Europe. Right? So I at this point in time, I don't know what of my information will reach anyone anywhere. Right? But they can't censor you sharing what I share that nobody else has. And if you make that as a determination of the viability of what I'm sharing, oh my goodness gracious, you have got a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. I know that belief is an incredible force because it's buttressed by your lifetime of observations over what makes someone actually successful, over what is respectable, over what is moral. People equate morality with having stuff when we've never lived in an era filled with more cowardly rich people than we are in right now. And that's because the devil has been in charge of our perceptions of what belief is. But for generations, not just today, the second, but for generations. And thereby showing you the data consistently has been very beneficial. But in order to claim that victory, which is this planet, the Most High said, ask for it and it is yours. It is yours. In my prayers, I ask for this planet back on behalf of all of us, as I know we will be the warrior stewards of this planet that is necessary to keep a devil from genociding everybody and everything. So come to 25,000 year cycle to keep this victory certain. That's wild for me to say, but it's what it is. Some of you might be tired of me just, wanting to stay humble, but I know that, being a braggart is the worst thing to Allah's ears, all right? I'm just regular folk. I know that. What I do, don't mistake it for what you can't do. You could do the same thing in your own beautiful, individual, mighty black way. If my voice, I do know they changed that Maris map, the IAEA. That was because of me. That I know, right? And it may have been the low dose. I think that's all the anti-nukers just coming out with the facts, throwing them in face of all these liars and killers. Right? But I'm just saying, this is what individuals are capable of doing, because there's no lie that can survive the coming of the truth. That's all the apocalypse means. For the devil, it means, oh my goodness, it's bad to everything. If you a liar, hallelujah, yes it is. Straight black family pride is our key to everything. I love you. Peace and blessings.